Alexender and the King. In a magnificent kingdom, there lived a king known far and wide for his purity, wisdom, and justice rule. His realm thrived under his benevolent reign, a testament to his noble heart and fair laws. The palace was a glittering monument to prosperity, with the king's royal throne perched high, surrounded by a host of majestic staff who served him with unwavering loyalty. Among these loyal servants was his vizier, Alexander, a man of sharp intellect and diligent work ethic. Alexander was not just any vizier, he was the king's most trusted advisor, a beacon of competence in the complex web of governance. His close relationship with the king, however, bred jealousy among the other state officials. They seethed with envy, their spiteful whispers creating shadows of conspiracy against him. The king, wise to their schemes, decided it was time to impart a lesson in the value of efficiency over mere toil. One day, a grand ship arrived at the port, its arrival announced with much fanfare. The king summoned his viziers and state officials to the castle, his regal presence commanding attention. From his throne, he declared to Alexander, "Our beloved horse has fallen ill. You must go forth to procure new steeds for us." Alexander bowed deeply. "It will be done, your majesty." With Alexander dispatched, the king turned to the other viziers, a shrewd smile on his lips. "I wish to get informed about the ship at the port. Vizier Marcellus, go and tell me what is happening there." Marcellus hurried to the port and returned shortly. "Your Majesty, the port is bustling with daily routine activities, and the ship is still anchored." The king raised an eyebrow. "And what of the ship? Is it for cargo or passengers?" Marcellus shifted uneasily. "I did not inquire further, your Majesty. I only observed that the ship was there." The king nodded, though his eyes betrayed a flicker of disappointment. "Vizier Octavius, please go and find out the ship's purpose." Octavius set off and returned with his report. "The ship is a cargo vessel, your Majesty." "Very well," the king said, "but what kind of cargo does it carry?" Octavius hesitated. "I did not ascertain that information, your Majesty. I saw only that goods were being unloaded." Frustration began to show on the king's face. He turned to Vizier Cassius. "You go next. Discover what is being transported on the ship." Cassius went to the port and came back with a curt answer. "The ship is carrying fish, your Majesty." "Excellent," said the king, "but for how long will the ship remain in our port?" Cassius looked uncertain. "I am unsure, your Majesty. I only know that it will be here for some time." The king's patience was thinning. "Vizier Lucius, please find out how many more days the ship will be docked." Lucius departed and returned with the answer. "The ship will remain for 2 more days, your Majesty." The king, now somewhat exasperated, pressed further. "And where did this ship come from?" "I did not inquire about that, your Majesty." Now it was the turn of Theodore. "King, send him." This time Theodore came with the reporting. "It is from our friendly neighboring country, your Majesty." The king's frustration mounted. "Do you know the price rate of the fish?" Theodore, looking sheepish, replied, "I did not ask about that, your Majesty." Seeing his vizier's repeated shortcomings, the king awaited Alexander's return. When Alexander arrived, Alexender tell each and everything he experienced during his journey to the king. King got so pleased with his services and appreciate him. Then king sent him to the port to discover about the ship. Alexander went and approached the throne with his customary composure. All the vizies were looking keenly as Alexender started to give his findings regarding the ship. "The ship at the port is indeed a cargo vessel carrying high-quality fish. The price is $2 per fish for the poor and $5 for the rich. The ship arrived this morning and will remain for 2 more days. It comes from our esteemed ally, and will visit 3 more neighboring countries before departing. I have also fetched some of fish for your lunch today." All viziers, standing in the shadows of their embarrassment, lowered their heads in silent acknowledgement of their own shortcomings. The king's face lit up with satisfaction as he stood and clapped for Alexander. The king addressed them, his voice carrying the weight of his wisdom. This, dear viziers, is why Alexander holds such a special place in my trust. He works smarter, not harder. His single visit to the port achieved what you 5 could not in multiple attempts. A lasting reminder that true success lies not in the quantity of effort but in the quality of one's approach. Thanks for watching.